Hi everybody, I'm Ben.
And I'm Mike, and we write songs together under the name The Kelly Line,
By the way, Mike's my dad.
which makes us a father and son songwriting duo. And when we're not writing songs, we're generally talking about writing songs, and we thought it might be fun to share some of those thoughts with you.
This week we're talking about one of our lockdown singles, Sure As Hell Not Through. Bear with us while we sync our mics, which is proving a tad confusing for Dad.
Yeah, rolling.
I just realised you won't be able to hear the clap on my end.
Does that matter?
Yeah, to line us up. Can you unplug your headphones for a second? Just unplug them. Cool. And now plug your headphones back in. And that should be enough for me to line us up. Because that's all I need is something to align us.
I have no idea how clapping 3 times is going to help align us, but you carry on if that makes sense to you, mate.
I clapped 3 times because my first 2 claps weren't very good.
Clap 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Have we started?
Yeah, I think that's an excellent introduction. So, Dad, tell me about Sure As Hell Not Through.
Sure As Hell Not Through. Sure As Hell Not Through is one of the really memorable songs. I mean, it was such. I can remember exactly where I was. By the way, I hope that's tea at this time of the day. I mean,
it's not wine.
I suppose anybody watching this, in the unlikely event anybody watches this or listens to it, won't know that it's ridiculously early in the morning. I see the sunlight actually coming through your window, so
Yeah,
I hope
it's pretty bright.
I hope that is tea.
Yes, it is. I promise. On my honour, as an ex-Cub Scout.
You know the rules: tea all day, beer all night, cheese at all times. Bit of a crisis, actually. We've run out of cheese, so Sam, as we speak, is off to the supermarket to get cheese. But there you go. Sorry, you said Sure As Hell Not Through.
Yes. Yes, I did. Tell me about Sure As Hell Not Through.
Really memorable because I started writing it. I conceived the initial idea at a Frank Turner gig. Remember it?
Yeah, in the Moat Point Arena in Cardiff. Good old Cardiff.
I think it was February. It was cold, and we all went. All 4 of us went, which was really. We had a great evening. I remember, and we're all Frank Turner fans. Mm-hmm. And I know that you 3 had all seen him live before, but for me it was the first time I'd seen him live.
Yeah, just to clarify, separate events we'd seen him. We hadn't just all gone together without you.
Very funny, very funny. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. But it was the first time I'd heard him live, and it was a brilliant evening. Warrington beat Leeds in Super League, so that was hugely memorable as well. So happy days, really. But I remember, and I often am, when I'm listening to music or watching it at a gig or watching a gig on telly or whatever, it often kind of kickstarts a bit of creativity. And I remember beginning to write a song. I think, from memory, I was kind of scribbling down lyrics on my phone, in the notes on my phone.
Yeah.
And your mother was like, put your phone away, what are you doing? And I kept trying to tap you on the shoulder going, I'm writing a song. Do you remember?
I remember specifically at one point you tapped me on the shoulder and were like, look at these lyrics, and then like seconds later you took the phone away and was like, well, just actually enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show. Don't look at these lyrics. That's silly. Don't get distracted from the show. And then I'm pretty sure a couple of minutes later you tapped me on the shoulder again and showed me your phone again. Yeah,
well, probably. I was excited at this point, and I remember the journey home because you obviously stayed in Cardiff, and 3 of us were driving back to Cheltenham, and I think we ended up on the phone to each other. You were walking home. And I was all excited about, I've got an idea for a song, here are the lyrics. And the other 2, Sam and Mum, were just like going, will you just shut up for once? But me and Sam had actually gone to the bar quite early on, I think before Frank Turner was on. And we'd sort of walked to the bar, and Sam said something along the lines of, by the way, we're just assuming everybody knows who Sam is.
That's a good point. We are just assuming. Sam's my little brother, everybody, in case you didn't know. And Mike's son.
Yeah, when I say little brother, I mean he's in his 20s.
I mean, yeah, little, relatively speaking.
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
He'll always be your little brother, but
yeah.
Well, anyway, Sam and I had gone to the bar, and he said something along the lines of, "Do you know what's weird?" He said, "What's weird is I don't think it's weird, being at a gig with my parents.
Which is a nice thing to say.
Yeah, it is actually. I mean, it took me a few seconds to kind of compute it, and I thought, he's being nice, I think. And I was going, yeah. And he says, and I think he might even have said it something like at your age or something. And I went, hey, whoa, I'm not through. Which is where it ultimately became Sure as Hell Not Through.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like the title of the song.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good title for a song. But we just finished writing Town Within a Town.
Had we?
Yeah, which couldn't be more different. I mean, solo, stripped back acoustic, and I was saying to you, no. This is full band. This is you, Connor, Yestin, Jack. And I think, I'm pretty sure I used the phrase, just going mental, playing music. Just let yourself go, playing music.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes. I remember that you wanted something that was like us showing off. Well, not showing off, but like in full force, the best we could possibly be. Something that's like, that's a band.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely it was a band, wasn't it? It wasn't stripped back acoustic. Yeah. No. But the other thing, and this was, I think, really, really important, I'd never seen Frank Turner live. And even though I knew and liked his music, when I saw him live, I was really struck by how the keys played a really important role. And how keys just gave you a dimension and possibilities that you didn't have maybe just as guitar and drums. Yeah. And I remember saying to you over and over again, it's keys. I hear keys. Yeah. Over to you, Benjamin. I didn't know how that was going to happen or how that was going to work.
That was a good segue, Mike. Yeah, I remember the keys were something that you were very keen on getting in and as like a focal point of the song, so you wanted me to think about them as soon as possible. And when we were writing it, once we got like the whole song down, we'd like worked out the rough structure. I knew where the keys wanted to go in, and I only had one bit of piano in my head. I know that during the somebody once told me the best way to defend. Yeah, precisely. I knew that there was a bit that was going to go like. Sorry.
See, I can't hear that. I can't hear that song without kind of joining in the key bit there. And I think quite a few people tell me that as well. They want to.
I just knew that was it might be, it sounds a little bit cliched, like that kind of music hall bluesy note. But I knew that was the bit that I kept singing in my head when I was thinking of the piano. So I knew that had to be in there. And many a Tuesday night at Porter's open mic, I'd be sat there drunkenly talking to my mate Alistair, who plays in a band called Fiasco, and it also played piano on this song. And I'd be like, Ali, can you play keys of this song for me? It goes da 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 da, and that was basically all I had. And I knew we needed to work it out from there, but that was the only bit of keys that I had.
You drunk on a Tuesday night? Well.
I know.
Whatever next. But the other, so they were pretty much the two things. Three things I think. One was it's a defiant song. I'm not through. Stuff that. And I love the line. Somebody once told me the best way to defend is to attack. There's a bit of sport creeping in there, I think. But I was like, it starts slowly. It starts quietly or kind of back a little bit. And then explode. I mean, what was it? And then you came up with the start. Do you want to give me a blast?
When I get to thinking that I really should know better, something stirs down deep inside, and I can't help but remember the days when I was full of youth and still a promising contender, and I find myself believing I'm not ready to surrender.
Keep going.
Somebody once told me the best way to defend is to attack. So let's fight back. Let's hold on. And then
then it picks.
This palm muted build. It kind of carries the song into the next section, because I knew that we couldn't state. Like, I got what you wanted to do with the starting slow. We've tried to do it a couple of times before. It's a good way of showing off how we are sometimes very acoustic and sometimes full band kind of punky sound.
We did it. We did it with Change the Dance, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But I knew that we couldn't stick around on that acoustic-y kind of feel for too long, which is why it's only like 40 seconds of the song that's like fully acoustic, if anything. In fact, it's probably less than that, and then an even shorter period of time when it's just acoustic guitar, bass, and keyboard, and then the drums come in pretty quickly. Like you don't have time to get bored or complacent with the acoustic intro. But then again, it's not just like a kind of tacked on kind of just Wonderwall-y sounding bit. It's like it's an integral part of the song, but it doesn't outstay its welcome.
And from me saying, because I think my bit was done in a sense relatively quickly. It's a Defiant song, go mental. It's a band song. It starts quietly, keys, and I was like going, make it happen. And it was like February time. I don't think I ever heard a version with keys till like nearly Christmas, and I was desperate to hear it. And you kept saying, yeah, it's in hand.
The problem with that is that with most of the demos that I make, I can play anything. Not that I can play anything, but I can fake most instruments because either it's something I actually play, like guitar or bass, or it's something I know how it works, like drums, or maybe like trumpet. Like it's quite, with a trumpet it just has one melody line. That's kind of all you can do with it, so it's hard to, you don't have to know how it's played. With drums, I know the kind of basics of what should be done, so I can write the drum part. But with keys, I don't know how it works. I kind of know the basics, like I can go like boom bap bap boom bap, but I can't make it sound right, so I don't ever bother putting it in my demos. So there was no chance of you hearing a demo with the keys on.
And you kept telling me, it's happening. And,
yeah, it was happening.
Yeah. So how did it happen in the end when you come to record it?
In my university, there are several practice rooms. There's the big practice room that everyone actually wants. There's slightly smaller practice rooms that have like electronic drum kits and are a bit battered and a bit cramped. And then on the 4th floor, there are essentially 4 cupboards. One of them, in fact, is a cupboard. It's just used to store stuff, and the other rooms are cupboards that don't have stuff in them at the moment. And me and Alistair went up to one of these cupboards. There wasn't even a keyboard stand. He had the keyboard that was there just on his lap, on a chair, and I was sat on a guitar amp, and we just battered away at it for about 2 hours. And that was the only practice we got before we recorded the keys.
Wow.
It was essentially, I can imagine it might have been quite a frustrating experience for Alistair, because as with often with you and me, you'll do something and I'll go, cool, that's not right. That's not right, we need to do something else. And I was basically saying to him, because we wanted the first solo to be a piano solo, like piano instrumental. I remember saying to him, I want it to be fancy. I don't want it to just be the tune.
Yeah. Over
and
to you.
Kind of waving my hands at him. He did a fantastic job. Like,
yeah,
I really
he did.
Love it.
He did.
And it wasn't what I expected at all, which is probably better.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed. Yeah.
And
so we end up putting it all together. I think the other person, because we mentioned Connor Jack Yestin, obviously, and you, and then Ali playing keys. But we ought to mention Lily's voice as well, because she had she just sung on Town Within a Town. That's how I can remember it was all around the same time. Different kind of song, obviously, but I think her voice adds so much to the overall effect of Sure As Hell Not Through, don't you?
You know, she's only in it for one word.
Still like it.
Yeah, I know, but like, I think, you know, I do most of the backing vocals and Sure As Hell Not Through. Lily's there to cover up my inadequacies. For the is coming to an end here tonight. I could hit that note tonight, and I could sing the right word, but I couldn't make it sound right. And Lily's a very talented vocalist, and she was telling me about how it's about the placement in my throat, and I was singing wide, not tall, I think was what she was saying, or the other way around.
Wow.
Far beyond me, I will learn. It'll be it'll be fun. But basically, it was the end of a long day. We'd spent 2.5 days like recording all of the bits for Sure As Hell Not Through, and it was the last thing I needed to do. And I was like, Lily, do you want to just stack a harmony on it and cover it up? And she went, oh yeah, sure. And
yeah, you've told me that before.
So it's literally tonight.
But you know me. I think you credit where credit's due is and just to mention it. So we end up with a song. We end up putting it all together. And I mean, you can't play the keys there, can you? So are you just going to play the track?
Yeah, we'll play the actual version so people can hear the.
Yeah, cool.
Hear the keys. Yep. So here you go, everybody. Here's Sure As Hell Not Through.
Yeah, I'll be singing along.
When I get to thinking that I really should know better, something stirs down deep inside, and I can't help but remember the days when I was full of youth and still a promising contender. And I find myself believing I'm not ready to surrender. Somebody once told me the best way to defend is to attack. So let's fight back. Let's hold hands, let's make a stand, but better yet, let's make damn sure that we will give as good as we get. I'm a rebel, idealist, poetic extremist. Want me, you me too. I'm a fighter, a dreamer, I'm still a believer. I'm sure as hell not through. Perhaps I should know better after years of disappointment, of setbacks and rejections, all those nearlies but not quites. But life is stoic, calm acceptance and a silent acquiescence is coming to an end here tonight. Somebody once told me the best way to defend is to attack. So let's fight back. So here tonight, let's stand and fight with no regrets. Let's make damn sure that we will give as good as we get. I'm a rebel, idealist, poetic extremist. Won't you be too? I'm a fighter, a dreamer, I'm still a believer. Sure as hell not through. So to those of you who said we couldn't, that it wasn't meant to be, not for the likes of you and me. Well, let me put the record straight, 'cause frankly I'm inclined to disagree. I'm a rebel, idealist, poetic extremist. Won't you be too? I'm a fighter, a dreamer, I'm still a believer.